Hi everybody, I'm Serge Kekilembi and thanks for joining me for the weekly US market reports. Time to trade the markets, the week ahead, perspective and analysis. As you already know, we're going to have a look at the economic calendar, next at the earnings, and next at some news. Also, we're going to have a look at the S&P 500 sectors maps, and next we're going to do some technical analysis and price action. And finally, at the end of the broadcast, we're going to have a look at some cryptos and see what's happening in the crypto space, and also do some technical analysis coupled with price action. Okay, so here you have my webpage www.jctream.com. And now let's begin here with the economic calendar. This is for the trading week beginning on Monday, October the 16th until Friday, October the 20th. Okay, so here, Monday, October the 16th, what do we have in China? We have inflation rate year over year for September. On Tuesday, October the 17th, in Australia, we have the RBA meeting minutes. In Great Britain, we're going to have the inflation rates year on year for September. In Germany, we're going to have the ZEW Economic Sentiment Index for October. On Wednesday, October the 18th of 2017, we're going to have back in Great Britain, we're going to have the claimant count change for September, also as the unemployment rate from August. And in China, we're going to have the 19th National Congress of the Communist Party of China. And on Thursday, October the 19th, we're going to have in Japan, we're going to have the balance of trade from September. And as you can see, you can appreciate over here, Japan remain, the Japanese economy remain in a surplus. Okay, so we already know what it means for the Japanese yen. Now let's move on. Number 2, let's have a look at earnings season for this week beginning on Monday, October the 16th until Friday, October the 20th. So first of all, let's see over here major impacts. Everybody, all the companies are going to report earnings for the Q3 season. So now let's begin on Monday. We're going to have Charles Schwab, the broker. We're going to have CSX. We're going to have Netflix, aftermarket over here. Service First Bank shares. Next on Tuesday, we're going to have Goldman Sachs, very, very important. IBM, Johnson & Johnson, Morgan Stanley, and United Health. On Wednesday, we're going to have Abbott, American Express, Crown Castle International, Customers Bancorp, eBay, Kinder Morgan, National Bank, Reynolds American. Over here, you see, oh, excuse me. My bad. Sorry about that. Over here, US Bank Corp. Next on Thursday, we're going to have Bank of America Mellon, BB&T Corporation, Berkshire Hills Bancorp, Danaher, Intuitive Surgical, PayPal, Philip Morris International, Verizon. And on Friday, we're going to have GE, General Electric, Honeywell International, Procter & Gamble, and back in France, we're going to have Schlumberger. Okay, so that's it for earnings during this next trading week. Now let's move on and let's have a look at some major news. We are here at markets.business.com, businessinsider.com, excuse me. As you can see, markets at a record high, both for the Dow Jones, S&P, and the Nasdaq 100. You can see over here gold back above 1300. Oil, the crude WTI above $50 a barrel. The euro dollar over here fluctuating at 1.18. You see we had resistance at 120, 121, and the pound cable over here, pounds dollar at 123. And now what's happening? As you can see, stocks climb at record high. Whatever do we have? We have some major news about major companies. You see over here that they're talking about smart speakers of Amazon, and both Amazon and Apple. So news for those companies. Next, what do we have? Yes, the best performing stocks for the week and for the last session. You see Apple, McDonald's, Procter & Gamble, Intel, American Express, and worst performing companies for the week. For the last session on Friday, GE, BA, Goldman Sachs, Merck, and over here Verizon Communication. Next, over here, you see here we have the CEO of Microsoft. So let's read. While Amazon and Microsoft battled in the cloud wars, the startup quickly built a 175 million business, US dollar, business by picking up their slack. So over here, that's a great and huge competitor for Amazon, both Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Alphabet Group over here. Next, you see over here, CEO of Starbucks, Mr. Howard Schultz, has been dogged by rumors about a presidential run for years. Is what baristas and other Starbucks workers think. Next, let's see commodities, green for commodities, so that's great. Over here you see zinc prices sparks flurry of minor listings. And over here with stock market, here also the stock market. Next, what do we have on currencies? You see last, well, not on Friday, but now we have Bitcoin trading lower. You see we rose and we touches the, we used to touch, Bitcoin used to trades at all-time highs near $5,800. And over here, see Ethereum also going up, but now they're down a little bit. Okay, so over here, once again, Jimmy Dimon back at it again. You see Jimmy Dimon talks about Bitcoin one day after saying, "I'm not going to talk about Bitcoin anymore." You see over here, cryptocurrencies are in the third inning, and Wall Street is just getting started. And over here, Bitcoin surged past $5,300 as bulls returned to the market with a vengeance. You see a lot of stuff's going on. See, you need to think about the strong demand for Bitcoin applications and all the utilities, the utility of the Bitcoin. And now, past what we saw in September with the ban of ICOs and restrictions and regulations in China. I'm talking about the PBOC, Public Bank of China. You see new regulatory policies about Bitcoin, concerning Bitcoin and ICOs. And so now we have to know that all the volume of trading for the Bitcoin has moved to Japan. So now Japan is the big hub for Bitcoin. And also remember, in November the 17th, we're gonna have a possible SegWit 2x fork. And first of all, it was the consensus was negative, but now it seems to be more positive, so that helps. And as a result, we saw a rise in Bitcoin prices. Okay, so that's it for the news, and also the remarks and comments from Christine Lagarde, head of the IMF, and also a lot of banks and stuff like that. So now it's more positive, you know. Also big investors, big hedge funds managers want to start. You see Bitcoin funds. Remember also Goldman Sachs CEO Mr. Lloyd Blankfein thinking about starting a Bitcoin trading operation. So that's very, very positive, you see, for the cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in particular. Okay, over here, what do we have for the bonds? There's a clear reason Democrats also intend on saving the states and local tax deduction. Over here, ECB owns in a 9 more month of bond buying at lower volumes. And over here, Mrs. The Fed chair, Mrs. Janet Yellen. Over here, Fed President James Bullard tells us why he disagrees with his colleagues about the need for more rate hikes. Possible rate hike in December, okay, at the next FOMC minutes. So now let's move on and let's have a look at the stock market. First of all, on the S&P 500 charts and map, excuse me. So first of all, let's have a look weekly performance over here. sector by sector. First, technology, great week except for the telecommunication services, over here AT&T and Verizon, and also networking and communication devices, a bad week for Cisco systems. Next, services, let's say that's a 60% green, but bad week for entertainment and diversified. You see Comcast, Disney, Time Warner, Fox, 20 Fox, CBS, and bad week also for Viacom. Over here, HD, bad week for HD, bad week for UNP, bad week over here for Charter Communication, but great week for Netflix. You see an increase in the price services. Bad week also for WBA. Bad week over here, as you can see, for those particular industries. Bad week for eBay and stuff like that. Great week for Walmart and Amazon. Walmart, 10% increase. So that's great. Over here, basic materials, that's a 50-50, but great week for ExxonMobil and Chevron. Healthcare, bad week, worst performing sector due to the Obamacare once again. And over here you see a bad week for the healthcare plans, heavily heated after the President Trump comments. Over here, biotechnology, bad week, and medical appliance and equipment, bad week, but great week for the drug manufacturer, except for Merck and Co. Okay, utilities, great week for utilities. Industrial goods, great week for industrial goods, except for GE. And consumer goods, great week except for Ford, and over here bad week for Nike, and bad week for the Kraft Heinz company. And financials, let's say on overall that's a 50-50, but bad week for the four major banks. You see over here for the money center banks, bad week for JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Citigroup, PNC, SunTrust, and Commercial Incorporated, and also bad week for investment banking and brokerage and prime broker. Bad week for Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and Charles Schwab, who's going to report earnings this Monday. Okay, and bad week also over here, that's a 40% down. Over here 60% good, but you see those big four, those four companies over here in red. Okay, and also bad week for the life insurers. Okay, now let's have a look at ETFs, and what you can see, you see over here all the indices, record high, everything looks great for indices, the inverted and all the stuff in red, so that's normal. You see the VIX in red, XIV, everything here in green, that's good. Small cap in red, mid cap flat, and large cap flat. The sectors, you see bad week for healthcare, energy flat, financials red, real estate green, technology green, utilities green, consumers non-cyclicals green, basic materials green, industrials green, and over here consumers cyclicals red. Next, international, everything green except for LATAM here. Global, the global miners, everything in green except for dust and GDST. Over here, technology, everything looks great except for hack over here, but still high. So a lot of hacking activity. Oh yeah, remember that hacker named Alf who stole 30 gigabytes of data from the US Army. So you see hacking activities still going on. They said that the hacker was located in China or North Korea, something like that. So hacking activities still going on. Over here, fixed income flat, but green for the US government bonds, and commodities green. Okay, so that's it for our sectors map and ETFs. Now let's move on and let's have a look at some charts. First of all, excuse me, I'm gonna download my presets, and we're gonna begin and have a quick look. So please bear with me. Okay, here we go. Not now. Yeah, I was with with cryptos, but now let's begin with the stock market, and let's begin as usual, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And now let's talk about what we see over here. Remember, last week was great, huge bullish candle, still above the 4 weeks moving average. I told you I was expecting a continuation, even a small one continuation, and we have another continuation. It seems to me that we are repeating that particular pattern. So next week, you see, what we can see is maybe another week like this with small volume, low bullish volume, but we're gonna see some kind of sideways movement. Still, we're gonna still remain bullish in order to wait and interact with the 4 weeks moving average. Okay, so the market will remain bullish. Okay, so that's it. The target is 23k, 23,000 points for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So that's it. So next week expect sideways movements, maybe with some spikes, and to touch to make another record high. Okay, so that's it, but be cautious also. Okay, that's it for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now let's move on to the NDX. That's your Nasdaq 100. What's happening with the Nasdaq 100 over here? Same thing, bullish but with low volume. Okay, so remember, huge bullish candle over here. That particular move, boom, done with it. This one, no, that one, ciao, out. And this one over here, yeah, you remember the target. Yeah, target over here. Let's say I'm gonna take this one, and that's like that. You see 100. Yeah, 6,100 points. Yeah, we were there. So now expect sideways movements, interaction with the 4 weeks moving average, and then we're gonna remain bullish. You see that particular move here above the resistance. Boom, there we are. And so that's it. Now I'm expecting to see more sideways movements, and let's see if we can go much higher and interact with the like that with the channel's resistance. You see over here resistance, supports over here, resistance, support over here, not resistance, but we had a top, a multiple top over here, 1 time, 2 time, 3, 4 time, finally the 5th time, boom, break above that particular resistance, and now we're moving on and trying to reach that particular channel's resistance over here, close to 6,200. Okay, but for the moment, first target, we need a close above 6,100 for the Nasdaq 100. Okay, so now let's move on. Excuse me. S&P 500. And over here, S&P 500, you see bullish, but with a doji over here. Maybe that's a resistance, and yeah, resistance at 25.50, and you see low volume now, and that's the beginning of a sideways movement. So that's it. That's what I'm seeing. In order to interact with the 4 weeks moving average over here, close to the 55.40. So I'm expecting sideways movement, but we're going to remain bullish because we're going to remain above the 50% of that particular great bullish candle. Still above 25.30, 25.40, we're going to remain bullish. So that's a pause, So let's see what's happening. But you also see that we are very extended. That's 1, 2, 3, 3 great bullish candles. So now expect some sideways movement. Still bullish, but with sideways movements. We're gonna remain over here at 25.60. Maybe we're gonna touch that particular level to make another record high and then move sideways. Okay, so that's it for the S&P 500. And now let's have a look at the VIX, the volatility index, and take a look at the VIX. Huge spikes, interaction with the 8 weeks moving average, 21, 13 and 26 over here. Huge spike, but you see still with those type of dojis, those type of gravestone dojis over here. And that's it. We remain at the low, very low support at 9,999.50, and that's it. Take a look here. We have your 4 weeks moving average, but that's a red candle, a bearish candle in this case. So that send us a very strong signal that we're going to remain in the lows, and we're going to interact with moving averages, and we're going to see another week and a few weeks until November with those type of spikes over here. Remember, take a look over here. We have a gap, a bearish gap. So sooner or later we're going to see another huge spike, and the VIX can come over here and interact with the 52 weeks moving average, but that time it's going to be over here in the 1150 region. So yeah, by the end of the month you're gonna see for the last 2 weeks, be cautious because volatility can kick in anytime. Okay, so that's it for the VIX. Now let's take a look at small caps. US, the Russell 2000 small caps. Boom, and that's it. Russell 2000, you see great rally over here, but now see the resistance here at 1450, and over here new record high at yes, at 1500. Remember that was my target. We have a close above that particular level, but you see now over here the Russell, it's kind of anticipating. You see, it's sending us signals. For instance, we can say that that's the future of the stock market, of the other indices. In that case, that's the future of the S&P, Nasdaq and Dow Jones. But you see here, we're already in sideways movements, so expect to see the same thing with Dow Jones, Nasdaq and S&P 500, but still at record highs, but with sideways movements. You see over here, we remain above the 1500, but sideways movement now in order for the moving averages to catch up and to interact with the actual price. But also that's huge volatility. Take a look, 4 weeks moving average at 1490, and over here that's your 8 weeks moving average. You see at 1447, and that's the region of the last resistance, now support. And take a look at the spread over here, it's huge, so that's volatility. So at any time if we have a correction, you can see something like that, 2 to 3 weeks to 4 weeks, 3 weeks of downside. That's just a type of correction of distribution, people taking profits. So we need to be cautious and be aware of that. Okay, so that's it. Now let's move on, and now let's have a look at fixed income. And first let's have a look at the 10 years treasury notes over here. Let's, you see, uptrending. You see a month of lower prices. You see now that's a huge, you see exactly the same thing as I was expecting. Remember, I told you last week that over here we're gonna have a support, that's a pivot point, but here you see that's a multiple bottom. You see 1 time, 2 times, 3 times over here. Each time we get to the 125, boom, reversal 125, boom, engulfing bullish candle, reversal candle, boom, to the upside over here, boom, doji, and now boom, bullish engulfing candle, reversal candle, and boom, going back to the upside. Take a look, that's your 52 weeks moving average, close at that level, close above the 4 weeks moving average at 125.70. So now what can you expect? Expect a bounce. We're gonna go higher. So I'm gonna take this one, and now I'm expecting this particular movement from here to here, going back higher. First of all, going back to 127. Okay, so that's it. And 127, 127.50, and then higher. And remember, if we have a bond price, a treasury note, that 10-year treasury notes going higher, that means that the interest rates, the yield, bond yield is going lower. The bond yield, that's exactly the inverted. So now you know what, we're gonna have a look, take a look at that. You see over here, bond yield, and that's exactly the opposite. See, from 2.35 to 2.27 and below the 4 weeks moving average. You see over here we have a strong convergence. You see over here, each time at the top, you see over here, pivot point, support, resistance, bam, resistance, bam, resistance, bam. Okay, so that's it. Now let's move on and let's have a look at the 30 years treasury bonds. First of all, we're gonna have a look at the bond, and then we're gonna come back for the yield. So like that. Okay, that one. Okay, you see exactly the same thing. If you're over here, uptrending channel, you see support, resistance, intermediary supports, back at the top, resistance, support. Here resistance, but that resistance was the 104 weeks moving average, and then 1 month to the downside, and over here reversal. You see reversal at the same spot. You see that's a multiple bottom over here, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, exactly the same thing. That's your 208 weeks moving average. You see support, resistance, 52 weeks moving average, and 4 weeks moving average close above. So now we are at 154. Expect that particular bond price to continue rising, but you see sideways movement over here, so we can build some kind of a sideways trading, kind of accumulation. So we're gonna see money is going being taken out from the stock market and going back to the bond market. So expect that particular move. Okay, so you can see bond prices going higher, and remember now we see the bond price going up. So now let's have a look at the bond yield, the yield for the bond. Here it is, and you see, boom, bond price going lower. Remember over here, pivot point, support, resistance. Now resistance over here, 52 weeks moving average, and boom, going lower. So now what can we expect? We can expect that particular move like that here. So that in red. Okay, this one in red, and I'm gonna clone this one, boom. I'm gonna take this one and this one here. That's our target. Okay, so the yield can go lower from 2.8. Take a look over here, that's your 13-week moving average, 21-week moving average in black, that's your 26-week moving average, 52 weeks 208, and 4 weeks over here, 8 weeks and 104. So now below 2.79, 2.78, boom, lower to 2.70. Okay, that's exactly the same point, support for the third time. So we're going to build a multiple bottom over here. So expect bond price to go lower, because that's a engulfing bearish, that's a strong bearish reversal candle. So now I'm expecting bond yields to go lower for the 30-year bond. Remember, 30-year bond. Okay, that's it. So now let's have a look at the Dixie, the US dollar, DXY. Remember, that's the US dollar against 6 currencies. If I do remember well, that's against the euro, pounds, Swiss franc, Norway krona, Japanese yen, and the number 6, Australian dollar. Oh no, Canadian dollar. Yeah, Canadian dollar. Yeah, I think that's the Canadian dollar, not the Australian. Canadian dollar. Okay, so that's it. Okay, you see over here. Remember, from here we saw a strong reversal. You see slowly but surely going to the upside. Remember, all of the moving averages over here acting as resistance, but being taken out one by one. First of all, the 4 weeks moving average, you see huge spikes inside week candle for 2 weeks. That's your 208 week moving average. I told you that was our support, and from here we have a range. That's a support level, resistance level, coinciding and corresponding to the fluctuations of that particular bearish candle over here. That strong bearish candle, no continuation to the downside below 91 over here, below 91.35. No, reversal over here, and boom, now going up. You see, so now up. 4 weeks moving average, convergence 4 weeks and 208 weeks. Here 8 weeks moving average, taking out the inside week candle, boom, break above. 8 weeks moving average, close above, interaction with the 13 weeks moving average, and then boom, spike over here, close below. Next week, gap up, boom, interaction, trying to interact with the 21 weeks moving average and close above the 13 weeks moving average. Sideways movements now, but that's a kind of a reversal. That particular bearish candle over here is canceling all the fluctuation, all the uptrending, and now we are back here at 93. That's a critical level. Also, why, take a look over here, we have a convergence between the 13 week and the 4 weeks moving average. 4 weeks moving average, it's uptrending, so that's a signal. So now maybe we are building a new type of pattern, a new type of uptrend pattern, like that here, support, and then boom, going up here. That's our A, that's our B, that's our C, and that's our D. You see over here. Okay, so that's it. So for me, my target is 95 for the US dollar. But over here also, it can be another thing. It can be just a correction. You see people taking covering their shorts, maybe that's that particular movement over here, and then boom, going lower. So that's, let's say, a A over here, a B, C over here, and a D much lower. We don't know. Okay, so in that particular case, that's a very critical zone and critical level over here. Very critical. So pay attention to the price action over here and to the catalyst. You're gonna need to know all the discussions. You see Fed with the balance sheet tightening now, $4 trillion in balance sheets. They're trying to unwind their balance sheets. The next FOMC minutes in December, what's going to happen in the ECB. You see the tax cuts plans by the administrations and stuff like that. So there's a lot going on. So you need to be focused and very cautious. Okay, so that's it for the US dollar. Now let's move on and let's have a look at some commodities. But just one word, when you see that the US dollar is selling off, you already know what you have to do in all the major crosses and major currency pairs involving the US dollar. You see here, if people are selling the US dollar, that means sell the US dollar, buy the euro. For instance, euro dollar, that's a buy. Dollar yen, that's a sell. You see, stuff like that. Okay, so now let's move on and let's have a look now. Crude oil, first of all, energy now. I'm gonna do some commodities, and over here crude oil. And crude oil. Remember, we had a meeting at the OPEC and stuff like that, blah blah blah. But why? Let's have a look over here. Our pattern. You see downtrending over here. Remember, support, resistance, support, resistance, support. That's our top. Also, you can see shoulder over here. That's your head, and that's another shoulder. So that's a bullish pattern. Okay, so that means that now I'm expecting oil to move back towards 55. You see over here that particular pivot point, that point of resistance target. We're trying to flirt, we're trying to interact with that particular level here, over here, $53. So now take a look. A, B, C, D completed. Now just profit taking, you see. But now take a look. Bearish candle directly followed by a bullish reversal candle. So that's a cancellation of the downtrend. So now I'm expecting a continuation over here. Also, that particular doji over here, that shooting star, is acting as a pointer. That point 52.94. We can say that's 53. So now if you have a continuation, you can see all prices for the WTI rising and touching 53. But for that, we need a close above $52 a barrel for the crude oil WTI, for the WTI crude oil, okay? So expect more moves towards the upside for the crude oil. I'm very bullish. Okay, so that's it. Now let's move on, and also that's in correlation with the dollar, you see. So let's see what's gonna happen then with the dollar and with crude oil. So let's see. That's no longer the case, also because you see from here we saw a sell-off in the dollar and huge oil prices climbing. But over here now you need to adjust that and need to be cautious. You see, take that in consideration. Okay, now let's move on. Let's do some precious metals. First of all, let's begin with gold futures. Okay, gold futures over here. And now, okay, over here you see also gold, strong, powerful bullish candle over here above. You see that particular resistance, 1300, well, that's 1295, but the 1300 over here, see, first time, boom, after indecision over here, two dojis, boom, break above that particular resistance, and now that's exactly the same thing. You see that's our A, B, C, and now forming a D. That's just profit taking. That's just a huge distributions. You see, if you use Fibonacci, that's a 50% retracement. You see, that coincides with the resistance over here, support, and then boom. If you've been following my analysis and my weekly report, you already know that I told you that for a few weeks now that I was analyzing those particular levels, and my targets for gold and stuff like that were much more higher. Okay, so that's it. If I'm doing this like that, see, now we have the big picture. You see, we are uptrending over here. And that's a great A, B, C, and then boom, now we're going back here. 1400, and that coincides with that particular level over here. See, boom. 1350, and then 1400, and then much higher to 1500 for gold. Gold is uptrending. I'm very bullish with gold, and for the moment it's playing out very well. So now I'm expecting continuation over here. So that's a free trade, because you see we are forming that particular V over here, that V shape, and now we have confirmation. What's our confirmation? I've been waiting for. I've been telling you the confirmation. That's it. You see over here, 52 weeks moving average 104.208, support very far from the actual prices. 21 weeks, 26 weeks, 13 weeks and in red and 4 weeks in green, the in blue. Confirmation that a close above that particular level. Convergence point over here, 50% of that particular bearish candle. Boom. Over here, resistance, it's our 8 weeks moving average, and that's the 50% level of that particular bearish candle. So that's 13.10. So above $13.10, boom, we are very bullish. Okay, so that's it. Watch it closely, and if you see a close above that particular level, that's a buy, and then boom, buy from there and hold it until 13.50 and 13.60, and maybe higher if it shows signs of powerful signs and stronger signs of a strong bullish momentum. We're gonna keep on buying and holding our position until 1400. Now let's have a look at silver over here. Silver futures. And what about silver? Silver, exactly the same thing, but the pattern and the price action obviously is not it's similar but different. We have a different type of level. Silver is moving more in sideways. You see, silver is more volatile. Okay, so as of silver, exactly the same thing over here, uptrending, boom, sell off. That's just the distribution. Now you see over here our pivot points over here, and now confirmation. You see all the moving averages are down, and over here we have the 208 weeks moving average acting as a resistance. You see the V shape over here, and now we are pointing towards the $18, okay, as resistance, and higher that's your 1850. Okay, and over here I can say that we are in a we are also uptrending. You see, bam, bam, and then bam, like that. You see, critical zone over here, distribution, here accumulation, and then going up. We are uptrending. Okay, and that's your A, your B, your C, and your D over here. Okay, and that's our bullish channel. Okay, target 1960, 1975, so close to $20 an ounce for silver. Okay, a troy ounce for silver. But we're gonna build that particular position very slowly. Okay, because those prices are being hit, are being hammered every now and then, so you need to be cautious of that. Okay, so that's it for precious metals, and now let's enter the crypto space. First of all, you're going to begin with Bitcoin, but first let's have a look at the ranking. Top 10 cryptocurrencies. We're going to have a look at market capitalization. You see over here, Bitcoin still #1, market cap close to $100 billion. Now they say that Goldman Sachs had a market cap of 92 billion, something like that. So equal to Goldman Sachs now. #2, Ethereum. #3, Litecoin. #4, Ripple. #5, Bitcoin Cash. Take a look at that. You see, Bitcoin Cash is flat, it's going nowhere. But take a look over here. That huge spike, huge higher run in Bitcoin doesn't profit. Bitcoin Cash doesn't profit from that, so that's a good thing for that particular focus. Over here, high of 5,800, and over here Bitcoin Cash remaining flat, even downtrending. Okay, #6, Ethereum Classic. #7, Monacoin. #8, Dash. #9, Monero. #10, Neo. 11, Zcash, and 12, Omisego. Okay, so that's it. And now let's have a look at the crypto maps to see an even better look at the total market cap for all the cryptocurrencies. That's $169 billion, and the volume in 24 hours, a volume of a little bit more than $4 billion in one day. Now let's see the performance for the week. And you see over here, Bitcoin performance plus 20% for the last 7 days. You see, and Bitcoin Cash over here has been down minus 10%. You see over here, Ripple's been flat, Ethereum up 6.3%. You see over here, BitConnect over here up, Yoda over here, Neo downtrending minus 17%, Litecoin up closer to 20%, Dash down minus 1.1%, and that's it. So you see big gap for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and that's the these are the great players over here. You see Ripple. Great news for Ripple. Ripple now has a lot of volume coming out of South Korea, a lot of exchanges and a lot of companies starting to work and adopting the applications of Ripple, and that's great for the utility of that particular crypto. So that's very great. So Ripple definitely for me is something to have still have a closer look, and I'm following that particular crypto very closely because it's very interesting, and I see a bright future for Ripple. So in particular now I'm really in love, and I'm really paying close attention to Ripple and Yoda. Okay, Yoda for the machine learning, and Ripple for transactions and stuff like that. You know, you see for big institutions, governments, and central banks. That's pretty. That's great. Okay, so that's it. Now let's go back, and now let's analyze charts, technicals, and price action. Over here, you see. Remember that huge run. And now you see a sell-off, so you see people now are taking profits. You see, remember I told you over here that we have a, as you can see, a resistance at 46.30, another one at $5,000 over here, and now boom, we are above that particular level. But take a look, so far away from the 4 weeks moving average. So profit taking, that's just a distribution. And if you see a distribution, so we're gonna have a little bit of pullback correction towards the 5200s, and then bounce from here and going higher. But my target is still $6,000 and 6200. Okay, so that's it for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin now, what I can do, I'm gonna take this and this, I'm gonna say that boom, you see, if you have a correction maybe something like that, boom, and then here, oops, no, yes, you come here, no, you remain there, I'm looking for you, yes, and here I'm looking for something like that. You see, come in here, bounce over here, and then boom, continue higher. See, from here, but be careful, because take a look, 4 weeks moving average, 8 weeks moving average, that's a lot of volatility. That's yeah, close to a thousand points, $1,000 of volatility. So you see that you know that Bitcoin is very volatile. So we were building an ABCDs, another ABCD, another ABC, probably D. So that's it for Bitcoin. Now let's move on. Let's have a look at Ethereum, ETH USD. Price provided by Bitfinex, and over here, take a look, that's a bullish flag over here. Huge distribution, correction, accumulation over here, another phase of distribution, but low, and another lower high over here. That's a triangle forming, and boom, take a look over here. What do we have? We have a close above that particular level. You see, Ethereum is uptrending, but not so, it's not so volatile. It's volatile also, but now you see we have low volume. It's not so volatile as Bitcoin. You see, you can see rises, but those are rises of $30, $20, $25, stuff like that. So you see now profit taken, even profit taken with Ethereum. So now let's see what's happening, but still bullish. Target over here, first target of 350, done, and now I'm expecting we need a continuation. We need a close above $250 and $375 to move towards $400. Okay, now let's move on. Yeah, let's do dash versus the US dollar. Wait a minute, it's taking too long. What's happening here? Okay, dash versus the US dollar over here. Here we go. Now wow, it's taking a long time to upload the charts and all my presets. Oh wow, what's this? What's happening here? What's this? No, I don't like presses from Kraken. I don't know what's happening here. But let's see another exchange. That's prices from Polynex. Let's try this one. Oh, okay, here, yeah, because the price is from Kraken. Okay, over here you see that we are in a sideways movement. You see rejection of lower prices. Take a look, that's your 13 weeks moving average acting as a support. We rejected it, you see over here, but now take a look, convergence between the 4 weeks moving average and the 8 weeks moving average acting as resistance. Bad week for Dash, but still in that particular inside week candle, you see, and that's a triangle formation, break below, but we are rejecting lower prices, rejecting the $280. So now let's be patient and let's see what's gonna happen in the future. Okay, but now as you can see over here, that's also a uptrending. Now we are waiting and to see what's gonna happen. I remain bullish, and you see over here we are doing just that. Okay, see, that's A, that's B over here, that's C, and D over there. Okay, so now we are here and we need to move higher back to resistance, break above resistance, and then boom, going higher. Okay, so that's it. So now here expect sideways movements between 350 and 275. Now let's move on. After Dash, yeah, Litecoin LTC USD. I don't know what do I have, Bitfinex or JDAX? I didn't remember. Oh yeah, over here JDAX. GDAX, okay, GDAX, here we go. You see over here we are uptrending. That's a step stairs pattern, uptrend, step stairs pattern, huge distribution over here, but still in an inside week candle. You see triangle formation over here. That's the base of that particular triangle. An accumulation phase. You see over here resistance, boom, we are flat, but since that particular candle last week, take a look, boom, close above the 4 weeks moving average. That's your 50% over here, close above that 50%. That's a trend line, sell side, buy side. Now we need a continuation, but you see, since people are taking profit in Bitcoin, they're also taking profits in other coins also. Okay, because in order to purchase some other coins, people are using Bitcoin to purchase Litecoin, Bitcoin to purchase Dash or Yoda or whatever. So if you see a sell-off in the major one, that's the case for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is leading the way. Okay, over here now, what do we need? We need to see a close above $70 in order to get out of that inside week candle, and then move on higher towards $80. Okay, and if this particular candle and the shadow over here acts as a pointer, $100 as for a target. So now sideways movement, and expect to see need to see an intraday price action to wait for a reversal, and then boom, moving higher. Okay, so that's it. Over here also we are seeing a pretty famous bullish pattern, and that pattern is called the cup and handle. You see, I'm gonna do this and then that, and then over here that's your resistance, and then boom, going higher. Okay, so that's it. Wait just for confirmation. Okay, now let's move on. That's Litecoin, and now we're gonna do Yoda, and we're gonna end with Ripple. Yoda USD. Okay, and that's it. You see over here when we don't have enough data, but let's do with what we have. You see over here uptrending distribution for a month. You see sideways movements over here, close above the 4 weeks moving average, 8 weeks moving average, rejected, and boom. You see over here cancellation. That's a bearish reversal candle, boom. And also a type of rejection, type of not an engulfing but a rejection. Close below the 4 weeks moving average, back at support level, and boom, lower. You see over here that's a tweezer bottom over here, marking a pivot point, marking a support, but that region also, that's a resistance, a pivot point over here. Those pointers point towards 37 cents, and now we are heading towards that particular level. Also, that's a triangle, and we break below. Okay, so now what can we see? What can we expect? We can expect to see some type of movement like that, you see, and trying to go lower. See A, B level, C level, consolidation level, break at this point, and then trying to find a D much lower. Okay, so maybe we can see prices going back towards 25. You see from here, what do we have? We have $1 and 50, so that's a 50 cent movement. So from 65 minus 60 cents, that's 15 cents. Okay, so that's it. But me, I do believe that we're gonna have a consolidation over here, that we are in a that's an accumulation phase over here, and that you're gonna have a B, that's our C point, and then see like that, and then boom, going up. Okay, so that's it, but you never know. And finally, Ripple XRP USD, Ripple USD, Polo NIX. Okay, that's it. And here Ripple, here we go with Ripple. You see, remember I told you that we have a famous, very famous pattern, and with Ripple the pattern is also a cup, and wait for the handle, and boom, above that, that's bullish. Okay, so now we're seeing a some type of formation. You see from here, bam, bam, that's the number one. You see the A, the B, the C, and the D. So that's it. If that is acting as a support, we need to look for 30 cents. Okay, and also this one as a support. First of all, look for 28 cents and then 30 cents. So we have that range over here, that level. So that's a critical level. Okay, so that's it for Ripple. Remember, now we have more utility, more people embracing Ripple, the Ripple technology. I saw there was a conference by the Ripple CEO in Canada, I think in Vancouver or Toronto last week, or a few weeks ago, 3 days ago, and that's very positive. You see for Ripple. So expect to see Ripple prices going higher. So even if we saw a correction, that's just another A, B, C pattern from here, and then going back higher. Ripple, it's time to get involved with Ripple and hold it, and let's see. let's see, but let's be aware of the technology of the company, of the applications, the utility of Ripple, and let's see in the future how they're gonna develop the company and the use of Ripple, and then maybe not maybe, but in sooner or later, I don't know, but in the future we're gonna see more demand as the applications and the company and the use of that company is going to be more standardized. You see, a standardization of the use of Ripple amongst great institutions and governments and central banks. Then Ripple going to have huge demand for it, but it's very, very good, the technology. And I see for the second time I'm going to tell you, I see a bright future for Ripple. Okay, so that's it, people. That's it, folks. So thank you very much. Another week for hanging with me, and so hope it helps. And you know where to follow me, when to be in contact with me. That's www.jctrim.com. Over here, click on the English flag for you English speaking people, and over here we have all the services I'm offering here at the company. We have also another videos to see the events and the stuff that we're doing. Over here we have our partners and companies we are working with, and over here the contact, the box messaging, the messaging box over here, and we have a number. That's the best number to contact me directly on mobile, or via WhatsApp, or via Viber, or Facebook Messenger. You can leave a message or leave a comment below, or on Facebook, or whatever you want. Okay, so you have many ways to get in touch, and be more than happy to help you with all my services. With that being said, have a nice week, have a nice trading week, and I see you next weekend. Okay, people, bye bye.